The Habsburg Empire is back. Now, you will be forgiven for not noticing at first, given that the map of the EU has not changed at first sight. But Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, is certainly trying to recreate a Habsburg-style coalition in the European Parliament. On June 30th, he announced the creation of the Patriots for Europe political group. Now that we know the contours of his grandiose project, it is safe to say that it encompasses the core of the former Austro-Hungarian Empire, major parties from Austria, Hungary, and Czechia. This time, however, unlike in the old empire that collapsed following World War I, it is Budapest and not Vienna that is clearly in the lead of the hard-right political alliance that is being created right now. Many more parties from other countries have either joined or are at least considering joining in the near future, and that means that the Patriots for Europe, or the Habsburg Empire 2.0 if you will, could soon become a major driving force in the EU as a whole. But this video is not just about a new group in the European Parliament, that would be too boring. And besides, as I have argued recently on this channel, in its current form at least, the European Parliament does not really matter that much, unless it is significantly reformed. And that is something that Viktor Orban realizes as well. So, in this video, I'm going to show you that Orban's plan is actually much more far-reaching. As he himself said when announcing the group's creation, the sky is the limit. So we are going to look where exactly that limit could be and what that could mean for the EU. Is Orban really the new emperor of the EU? Well, we'll see. I'm Jan with Prague Pulse, and as always, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. Also, thanks so much to everyone supporting us on herohero.co/PraguePulse. It really does mean the world to me, and your support makes this all possible. So thanks so much, and now let's dive in. As I said, the new political group was announced on June 30th by Orban, leader of the governing Fidesz party in Hungary. For those of you not familiar with Brussels lingo, a political group is essentially a faction voting together in the European Parliament. And on June 30th, Orban was standing alongside the two other founding fathers, if you will, of the Patriots for Europe, former Czech PM Andrej Babiš of the ANO party and Herbert Kickl, leader of the Austrian FPÖ, which is predicted to win next month's general election in Austria by a large margin. As the name of the group suggests, they claim to run on a patriotic manifesto. So they support everything you would expect from European right-wing parties these days. They wish to fight against illegal migration from the Muslim world, of course, even though those three countries have seen very little migration as is. They want to protect the sovereignty of EU member states vis-à-vis the perceived dictate from Brussels, and they want to safeguard peace in Europe. We'll come back to that later. They've also tried to lure in parties from Slovakia and Slovenia. Yes, there is a difference between the two. The Slovenian Democratic Party of former PM Janez Janša and the Smer party of the current Slovak PM Fico. Although those parties have not joined the Patriots so far, it cannot be ruled out for the future. And if they do end up joining in the end, the whole core of the former Austro-Hungarian Empire will have been secured. In any case, it would be a mistake to dismiss the Patriots for Europe as not important. They have, in fact, managed to lure in some European political heavyweights, mainly the French National Rally of Marine Le Pen, which has joined, bringing 30 out of the group's total 81 MEPs, which is a sizable chunk. We also have Italy's League of Matteo Salvini with 8 seats, the Dutch PVV party of Geert Wilders with 6 seats, and the Spanish Vox party, also with 6 seats. So for now, it is an amalgamation of parties from both the old and the new member states. And as I said, others may well join down the line. Already, the group is actually the third biggest one in the new European Parliament. So again, it is a force to be reckoned with. The group is really interesting, and I mean that without any sort of irony. At first sight, it is actually quite an unlikely alliance. First, there have been many hostilities among its current or future potential members. some of those tensions go well back into the past. The clear drawback, you see, when trying to unite nationalist parties from multiple countries is quite clear. The notion of nationalism differs from country to country. For example, for an Austrian, the image of how to best defend their homeland and their nation will be clearly different from that of a Frenchman, and etc. etc. Take the Austrian FPÖ as an example in this. Historically, it has spent years, and I mean years, fiercely arguing for reparations from Czechia for Austrians who were forcibly expelled from the former Czechoslovakia after World War II. So essentially, they wanted money and/or properties from the Czechs. That would naturally be unacceptable to a lot of Czechs, simply because if we take it to the extreme, it could also lead to the opening of a quite literal Pandora's box, with Austrians actually asking for territory, and not only properties, but also territory back from Czechia. But now, leaders from the FPÖ and ANO are willing to set those significant differences aside. Mind you, both FPÖ and ANO are also predicted to win their respective countries' upcoming general elections, meaning that they both might nominate the next prime minister in their countries and lead their respective countries in due course. Secondly, another significant difference of opinions within the Patriots concerns, and that's probably not surprising, their stance toward Russia's illegal war of aggression against Ukraine and their attitudes toward the criminal regime in the Kremlin. Officially, the group now claims that Ukraine was not at all the reason why the parties united, and that they only want to ensure peace in Europe. Unsurprisingly, they also categorically refuse the claim that they are pro-Russian, but there are many problems with that refusal. Crucially, most of the Patriots members do not hide their admiration or outright veneration toward Putin and Russia. We all know these pictures of Matteo Salvini, leader of the Italian League Party, wearing a Putin t-shirt, after which he called Putin a friend. Now, the main problem with this is that this all happened after Russia's aggression against Ukraine started. And for those of you who don't know or are not willing to realize this, Russia's aggression against Ukraine started already in 2014. And Salvini wore this t-shirt after the aggression started. Marine Le Pen also called Putin a friend in the past and had those pictures printed for an election campaign just days before the full-fledged invasion of Ukraine started. Members of the Czech ANO party have spread Kremlin propaganda online as well. And Hungary's Orban himself has repeatedly blocked vital aid to Ukraine or sanctions against Russia in both the EU and NATO. Plus, on the first day of the new European Parliament, when the Assembly voted to reaffirm their support for Ukraine, only 2 of the 81 MEPs for the Patriots voted in support of Ukraine, and more than 60 voted against. Some of them are not even brave to vote against, so they abstained. And you know, as they say, actions speak louder than words. Members of the Patriots may well claim that they are on the side of Ukraine, but when it comes to it, they certainly do not behave like they are. But fortunately for Ukraine and for the safety of Europe, the European Parliament is not the key body deciding whether or not support for Ukraine will continue. So you could say that the individual votes of the Patriots MEPs do not matter so much. We can just be rightfully appalled at their hypocrisy and at their behavior. But that actually brings me to a much more important point that I wanted to make in this video. The Patriots for Europe group is the result of a very clever political calculus by Orban. And there's really no irony here. Whether we like it or not, Orban punches way above his weight in the region of the heart of Europe. And he is respected and admired by many like-minded leaders in the whole EU, not just the heart of Europe. And that explains why the group so quickly became the 3rd biggest in the new European Parliament. Yes, it's pretty much impossible that they get any real influence in there. All the major forces in the EP basically blocked the Patriots from any real positions of power in the parliament and created basically a so-called cordon sanitaire. But that completely misses the point. This is not about the European Parliament at all. You see, the Patriots were not really created to just sit in the European Parliament and serve the interests of the Kremlin, which they definitely do, by the way, be it knowingly or unknowingly, it doesn't matter. They do serve the interests of the Kremlin. But the real reason they exist is that Orban wanted to create a tool for real influence, and he is excelling at that. You see, there is a clear logic and sophistication behind the Patriots' design and plans. Orban and the others clearly understand that real power in the EU lies within the Council of the EU and the European Council, where all of EU's member states decide, be it through their ministers or through their heads of state. Let's grant this. The EP also plays a role, but as I explained in a recent video, without a sufficient majority of the member states, no legislation can pass anyway. On the contrary, a sufficient number of member states can block any legislation it does not like. And the bigger the number of member states in a voting coalition, and the more populous those member states are, the better. And as we've seen, the Patriots already encompass many member states and many different parties. And some of those have a realistic chance that they might end up leading their country's governments in the near future. Take the cases of Austria or Czechia, where the FPÖ and ANO are very likely to win in the near future. The Dutch PVV is already governing, and it's not inconceivable at all that the next French president will actually come from the national rally of Marine Le Pen. Heck, it may even be Le Pen herself. Well, simply put, Orban just understood that there are different ways to maximize influence in the EU. And while the European Parliament may not be the best way to do it, it may provide a great platform for future influence in the Council, where it really matters. And now he just needs to wait it out, let various elections throughout Europe play out, and soon the number of prime ministers from the Patriots, or at least affiliated with the Patriots, may even exceed those from other EP groups that have been established long ago, such as the ECR. While it may not be enough just now for a blocking majority, they can certainly establish themselves as a significant influence in real EU decision-making. That is not in the European Parliament, but in the Council. Orban will have created a pan-European platform where Hungary can finally be the kingmaker after 400 years of playing second fiddle in the original Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now, what do you think about the Patriots for Europe and Orban's plans? Do leave a comment down below, as always, and don't forget to subscribe. This has been Jan with Prague Pulse. Thanks so much for all the support, be it here on the channel, in the comments, through likes, subscriptions, or on herohero.co/praguepulse, and see you next time. Have a great one.